soup. Welcome to Tales Tomorrow. I'm Morrow, your storyteller for today. With me, have some more RPG horror stories. Apologies for lack of a full body in these videos. I'm just very tired. But I still wanted to get back to the norm on here on this channel. Speaking of the norm, we got some RPG horror stories. This one might be potentially about an edgelord. Let's check it out together. Edgelord alcoholic fighter, his fae wife, and my panic attacks. Was I wrong to leave? Hi everyone, recently I had my first RPG horror story at my local gaming club. There's a West Marches campaign going on there right now, and I decided to give it a try. Trigger warning, domestic violence. I created a paladin who was the youngest son of an influential lord. His flaw was pride. So the session begins. Our ship gets shipwrecked. I fail a saving throw, I lose half my HP. Okay, I'll lay on hands, so it's not critical. And then he appears. Ron, name change, an alcoholic fighter with a fairy who was his wife/sex slave who truly loves him, and because of that allows him to treat herself as garbage. Yes, I'm not exaggerating. I haven't even heard that many insults towards women in my entire life. I am 30. In character, Ron insulted my character. I tried to hit him and missed. He didn't. I tried to hit him again. He struck back and we both missed. I realized that I didn't want to risk my character's health, especially with dice like these, so we moved on. Our character have banter later, but he acted like a team. The rest of the session was fairly fun, but after the game the next day, I had a panic attack. The topic of violence against women is very triggering to me. I'm going to play TTRPGs to escape from the horrors of the real world, not to relive them. I think my gaming experience would have been even worse if I played a female character. I'm a woman IRL. Told Jim about this and added I wouldn't be able to play with Ron. He was understanding and offered to just invite me to games where this character wasn't present. I agreed, but I'm still afraid that this player will be with me in other games. Problem is that Ron's player is genuinely charismatic and generally normal person IRL, but all his characters are edgelords beyond the pale. If it's important, he's married IRL, so there's no incel fantasy excuse. I want to know, am I being too insensitive? Was it right to refuse to play with a character in the same group? Incel or no incel, it's really strange and weird to play a character specifically just to be like a wife beater or something. Is that just me? Am I the only one that's like kind of in a box sitting here thinking, you are a genuinely normal person who is probably very stable IRL, but you just have to play the most abusive, like alcoholic, abusive individual imaginable just to be able to berate an NPC wife/sex slave. That to me feels like a strange character flip. I mean, at the end of the day, I think when it comes to role-playing and D&D and just TTRPGs in general, you're allowed to play a character fantasy that isn't you. Like me, IRL. I'm not a jaded tiefling. I'm just an overworked workaholic Russian. But on here, I could be a jaded tiefling and I could do whatever, or I could play as a little fish guy or a bird guy or whatever the hell I'm playing. I could play all kinds of characters and have fun in TTRPGs playing whatever the hell I want to play. So if somebody were to play, I guess, an abusive alcoholic, I guess in a sense they can, sure, but also I feel like maybe most DMs will not be comfortable to have to roleplay out your abuse fantasy. Personally, I mean, I don't know, as a DM I'd feel kind of uncomfortable if I had to play like roleplay out domestic abuse, unless it's for a specific story moment where it's not, you know, not dive into directly. I don't think I'll be able to stomach as a DM play out a domestic abuse RP for a player character. I think that'd be probably a little bit beyond my chops a little bit. No, there's nothing wrong with you not wanting to be in the same campaign or same games as the specific player if they're going to be just playing a bunch of abusive characters, especially if you have trauma regarding abuse and domestic abuse and you're not comfortable with that sort of thing. And if it gives you a panic attack, D&D should be fun, not a place where you go to get stressed out over. And if a single player's like actions in character is that much to the point where they're actually putting you on edge, probably shouldn't play in the game. I understand the other solution that potential could be is a thick skin solution, but like if it's genuinely not making you feel comfortable, then you don't have to do it. You can work through trauma and you can work through things if you really want to, but the question is, player OP, is what do you want to do? Do you want to try to see if you can stomach through it and see if maybe, you know, we give it a little bit of time and maybe just use this as a exposure therapy thing in order to get past a specific you know, thing that gives you a panic attack, right? Work through it and maybe, I don't know, exposure therapy could help. If you want to, go for it, stay in this game. If you really don't want to and you want to play a more comfortable campaign that doesn't make make you get panic attacks because somebody wants to play at some sort of like a domestic abuse roleplay, then you don't have to. Here's the best part. You can choose to join whatever games you want to join, and you can leave games that you don't want to play in. If you don't want to play with this player because somebody is going to be doing a domestic abuse roleplay, don't play in this game. Don't play with this player. Don't play with this DM even, if they're going to be allowing this player to join in and stuff. Join a different game. Look for things that are going to make you have more fun instead of trying to stomach something that is not going to make you have fun. Simple as that. Let's go ahead and get to the next story for today. Blair has a mental health crisis over not getting an adult tween romance. This campaign started at level 3 over Discord. I should have taken a firmer stance earlier, but I didn't because I managed to look past the red flags and thought no harm, no foul, until it blew up in our faces. Also know next to nothing about mental health, and it's really going to show. The cast is as follows. Me, 20 female, mentally sound, playing Cassius, a 13-year-old Eladrin Bardlock, a kid by Eladrin standards. Watermelon, 17 to 18, who often talked about their mental health struggles in his server's venting channel, and played Wizard, the 13-year-old Shifter. Shifters reach adulthood at 10. Raspberry, who played Rogue. Papaya, who played Paladin. Papaya, papaya. If you know, you know. Clementine, who played a Claruid. And the Dungeon Master. In the server, every campaign gets its own channel for auto-character discussion. I would like to show off art of our characters. Watermelon gushed over the pictures I sent to Kaz, who looks like a doll for backstory reasons. As flattered as I also found it a little excessive, but maybe Watermelon was just super invested in Cassius. There's been a couple of times where I'd also gotten more invested in character than the own creator did. Besides, I'm not going to tell someone to stop complimenting my character. Come to the first session, and Wizard immediately glommed onto Cass. They always talk to him first when roleplay happened and try to butt into every conversation he had with Paladin, Rogue, or Claruid, so stop initiating roleplay with Wizard because they more than made it up for themselves. Rogue loved having a kid around to mentor or be a temporal influence on, and Cass, for his part, found him unbearably cool. Raspberry wanted to teach Cass to use Thieves' Tools, so he, the Dungeon Master, and I came up with a mechanic to make that happen. Over the next several sessions, Kaz drifted closer to Rogue than any of the others. Clementine and Papaya didn't seem to mind. Watermelon, on the other hand, one day, Wizard told Claruid to heal Kaz before Rogue, and Watermelon started begging when Clementine pointed out that Rogue was getting whopped in the middle of melee, while Cassius was buffing and debuffing from the sidelines, who wasn't getting hit as much. Raspberry called a timeout and revealed that he felt Watermelon had been being passive-aggressive towards him through the character for no discernible reason, and even unfriended him. We had all agreed to friend each other for the duration of the campaign. So the Dungeon Master dragged Watermelon and Raspberry into a private voice call. They came back several minutes later after supposedly having made peace. Claruid healed Rogue, and Rogue ended the fight rolling death saves anyway. The Dungeon Master called session, and the party would deal with the aftermath next week. By friending, are you talking about like Discord friend request friending? I don't know, man. I'm in a bunch of Discord servers, right? I gotta be honest, I'm not one to really friend request a bunch of people over and stuff. I only really friend request on Discord when it's like a necessity and need. I get it. Yeah, it feels nice. Oh, you have somebody add as a friend. It's like the actual friend, but then a friend Discord is up. It feels nice and everything. Maybe I'm more utilitarian and stuff. I just don't see the sort of things as like a necessity. But unless I need to friend request somebody, I typically don't. And to use this in such a way to like spitefully be like mean or passive aggressive towards each other, you know what it is? It's when people follow each other on Twitter, and then to be spiteful, one person unfollows the other just to try to, you know, get them to notice that, oh, you've been unfollowed and stuff. Me. I don't know, man. I don't see these kind of platforms as something that's important. Like, I may like someone's content, but doesn't mean I have to subscribe to them on YouTube. And like, I'm not gonna hold that against you if you watch my videos but you just never subscribed. Your YouTube feed just constantly feeds my videos to you, so you just watch anyway. It'd be cool if you subscribed and gave a like and left a comment and everything, but I'm not gonna force you to subscribe. I'm not that kind of guy that's gonna be like, you have to subscribe to like my stuff, otherwise I'm mad at you. Imagine if I was that kind of a tsundere where I'm like, if you guys don't subscribe to me, I'm gonna get mad. We're not friends anymore. That'd be ridiculous. Let's continue. Come next week, Wizard hugged Cassius like they were trying to get last of the toothpaste out. There was a back and forth with Cass trying to wiggle away and Wizard trying to hang on. Then they tried to kiss him. I had a WTF moment at that, but I found the comedic up to that point and assumed it was just escalating the bit. So I laughed along and Cassius smacked Wizard. Watermelon PM me asked what that was for. It was such a stupid question that I couldn't think of how to answer, so I didn't and promptly forgot about it. A few sessions later, the party had to get each other's backstories, and Cass guards his like nuclear launch codes and tried to tell a version that left out everything he didn't want to talk about, but the party wasn't having it. I set out a character that wouldn't mind if they cast his own truth or something on him. Right, Clarude was gearing up to do it, just that. Paladin pulled Cass aside, got him to cast his own truth on her, and swore up and down that she wouldn't use a word he said against him. So he opened up. In a campaign channel a few days later, Watermelon said they wanted Zone of Truth and lamented with Clementine pointing out the wizard couldn't cast that. I said I wanted life transference too, but Barlock can't have it. Clementine admitted he wanted prestidigitation. Asked with Dungeon Master if the party could teach each other spells like Rogue taught Cass to use Thieves' Tools. He agreed that as long as he didn't get any more spell slots that rules are written allowed, and both the character teaching spells and the one learning it both had in-character justification to do so. Watermelon suggested the wizard would do it because they were in love with Cass, and I shot it down. Then I remember the kiss that PM'd Watermelon about it. Hey, so that kiss, were you joking or was that sincere? Sincere. Well, that's creepy AF. Cass is 13, I'm 20, and you're almost 18. I don't want to have him get involved in a relationship with Wizard, especially not with our ages. Wizard is also 13. That's an adult for Shifter. Even if you're homebrew Wizard to age the same rate as Cass, I'd feel weird RPing romance with a 17-year-old, with a 17-year-old wanting to RP romance between a pair of 13-year-olds is creepy. One of them is being an adult makes it worse. No more of that, okay? Watermelon never replied to that, but I figured a message that clear didn't need follow-up. So turn my attention back to the call. By the way, if you feel genuinely uncomfortable, you just say, nope, that's not happening, it's not going on. And honestly, I commend OP. That's how most things should work. It should end. At the end of the day, that sounds like a solution. But oh, reader, there's a lot more to this and a lot more. I'm just skim through it. There's a lot more that happens. Let's get to it. Next week, once the awkwardness had passed, or so I thought, Watermelon and I, mostly I, because Watermelon just nodded along to whatever I suggested, decided that Cassius would pester his patron every once in a while to get spell scrolls for Wizard to exchange for the lessons. And on Cassius' end, he teach Wizard spells because he needs them to think he is useful. One day, Rogue asked to pull Cass aside to talk away from everyone else. Wizard tried to follow. Raspberry said the conversation is supposed to be a private, at least in character, but Wizard insisted on staying because they need to protect Cass from Rogue. So Raspberry and I grilled Watermelon about why they thought Rogue was bad news, and they couldn't come up with anything, so they backed off. Asked us to forget what happened, and he didn't say a word for the rest of the session. Cass is illiterate and super insecure about it, and Wizard is super bookish. One day, Cladruid asked why Cassius always gives the spell scrolls he got from his patron to Wizard to teach him, instead of learning them himself. Then rolled inside, passed, and realized Cass can't read. Wizard tried to comfort Cass and tell him it's nothing to be ashamed of. Cassius doesn't take coddling well, so he tried to deflect and insist he doesn't care that he can't read. Liar, liar, toga on fire. Watermelon wouldn't let it go and brought up that every bit of downtime. Eventually asked Watermelon for Wizard's passive insight, which was high enough for them to tell that Cassius really didn't want to talk about it, and was barely managed to hide the red-hot rage behind saccharine politeness. I'm not sure how to pronounce it correctly, but whatever. Watermelon didn't ask again. That morning after the session, they PM'd me. Hey, I'm feeling really down right now. Oh no. Can't stop thinking about the fight with Cass. What fight? We just an inside check. I'm scared I'll cut. What? You got to cut over the fight? Or am I misreading? Yeah, that's right. Over D&D? It's just a game, bro. I don't know what to tell you except don't, I guess. What? Hold on. He just hit me what they meant by cut. What? They got to self-harm over character interact? Okay, yeah. This is somebody that you immediately cut contact with because this is too much, dude. This is way too much. I get it. Yeah, self-harm is not a great thing. That's like crossing boundaries that are unreasonable. You don't DM people and tell them and announce them that you're gonna self-harm. That is... that is insane. That is actually insane to do. Like, I'm sorry, but like, this is not okay to do. This is like trauma dumping over in character. This is overreacting. Trauma dump overreaction to a character interaction that wasn't even a negative one or a fight or anything, that is just being blown out of proportion, that Watermelon is DMing about just to try to get some sort of like pity points or something. I have no idea. Holy hell, dude. With that, I snapped my laptop shut and went to do the dishes. In hindsight, I should have told the mods, but I didn't because I figured the Watermelon must have been pulling my leg. A valid reason to go to the mods in and of itself, now that I think about it. Surely there's no freaking way that 9 hells an insane person would actually go so far as to cut themselves over a game. Fast forward several sessions, midweek. Watermelon replied to my "I don't want to RP romance with a 17-year-old PM," telling me that it was their 18th birthday, which didn't change my stance at all, so I ignored it. Probably shouldn't have. Cass, Wizard, and Clairvoyant have traded some spells, including life transference. During the session, Paladin went down to the middle of a fight, so Cassius cast life transference on her. After the fight, Paladin was equal parts proud of Cassius for doing that, horrified that he nearly sacrificed himself, furious at him, and a Wizard for teaching him such a self-destructive spell. Wizard was losing their mind over Cassius getting hurt and insisted everything was their fault. Paladin snapped that it was. Watermelon, breaking character, squawked and retorted that Wizard was just yapping because they were worried about Cass. Papaya said she knew that out of character and she thought the whole situation was dope AF, but in character, Paladin does feel that it's Wizard's fault for teaching Cass how to cast life transference. Watermelon didn't say a word the rest of the session, left early, saying they were having a bad mental health day. A couple sessions later, Cass and his 8 strength, relatable, ended an encounter pinned by an entangle spell. As soon as the villain went down, Wizard ran to Cassius not to get him free, but to kiss him. I called a timeout to remind him that I also said no romance because it's creepy. Dungeon Master told him off too. Watermelon tried to insist that Wizard was just overwhelmed with emotion. I point out that 1, why is one of those emotions lost? 2, Cassius is a tween and Wizard is an adult by the racist standards, and 3, even ignoring the hebephilia, kissing someone without asking, especially if they tied up, is gross, and 4, I said no to romance because it's creepy. But Wizard loves him. And their voice broke. Are you crying? Why can't you just play along? They're both 13, it's not that big of a gap, is it? I love him. Wizard is an adult and Cassius isn't. Even if they're the same age, that's a big deal. You love him? He's not real. What's wrong with you? He's real enough to make me cut. What? Record scratch! Papaya and the Dungeon Master started spam picking the mods, but it was late and none of them were online. You harm yourself? Yes. Over D&D? It's just a game. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. Over a freaking game. In hindsight, I should have been nicer to someone melted down right in front of my eyes. But at the time, all I saw was a big baby who needed a reality check. It hurts me when Cass won't pay attention to them. You harmed yourself over a fictional kid ignoring your original character. Do not steal. It's just D&D. It's a freaking game. What is wrong with you, bro? My dad heard that and knocked on my door to ask what was going on and tell me off for swearing. And I knocked off the call to explain myself and then went to bed. When I opened Discord again the next morning, Watermelon had either left or been banned, and the mods had added a hotline channel and PM'd me to explain to them there was more to Watermelon's meltdown than just being a big baby as soon as they pieced together what happened. Watermelon and I share a couple of other servers and then went on from chronically online in both to Radio Silent. They also hadn't unfriended anyone from this server as far as I can see. Not even me. The campaign died, the Dungeon Master is traumatized, just plays on one-shots now. Watermelon had been running a campaign at the time. Raspberry started his own and poached a few of their players. I joined in too, bringing Cassius with me because I liked him too much to give him up. Oh my Jesus, Batman. I don't know what needs to be said, but self-harm over D&D is an insane thing to do. Self-harming yourself over fictional related stuff is insane. I get it. They're like, you know, young, 17 turning 18 and stuff. This is nuts. This is nuts. I mean, hopefully they're just saying it for the sake of just getting some sort of pity points. You know, they're just saying they're just cutting themselves when they're not actually self-harming themselves. You know, I hope they're not self-harming themselves. And it's all just a ploy just to get some sort of pity points and to make people feel bad for them. Like, boo-hoo, look at me, feel bad for me kind of thing. Like an attention-seeking thing. Because otherwise, I don't know. Otherwise, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know. This is like some sort of a mental health crisis. This is like an insane mental health crisis over fictional characters that don't want to romance your character and stuff, when it's been outlined that the player does not want to have a romance. I think boundaries are not being respected here, and instead what Watermelon is doing is using the self-harm thing in order to try to get more attention and to try to get everybody to bend over backwards for them, or specifically to get OP to bend over backwards so that the wizard can be creepy and kiss their character at all times as much as they want to. I'm not even going to go into the whole like different species like age gaps and like adult ages and everything, because because that's just not something I really want to go into. I don't feel like I'm geared for that sort of thing. It is still like 8 o'clock in the morning and I'm still waking up from everything, but this has been definitely a wake-up call. Either way, at the end of the day, self-harming over D&D stuff or D&D character interactions or not getting your love story that you want in D&D is insane. And if somebody's claiming they're going to be doing that, they should probably seek some actual help and a reality check, because this is an insane thing to start self-harming yourself over. Guys, love yourselves. Love yourselves now. Please do not hurt yourself over D&D stuff. All of it is fiction. None of it is real. None of it is ever real at all. This is a tragedy. This is a tragic story. I'm sorry that happened to you, OP, to deal with this specific player in this specific way. It's just insane. I think you wanting to just nope out of there and just not even participate in the game is very much valid. I probably would do the same thing. If I was playing the game and I was basically held as a hostage because another player basically wanted to have our characters have a romance, even though I wasn't interested in it whatsoever, and the response of the other player, instead of respecting your wishes and stuff and not trying to force some sort of a romance, is to start claiming they're self-harming because of that. That is insane. I'll probably want to also nope out of that, because this feels like a really manipulative thing to do. I've met some people that specifically utilize like self-hurting and self-harming, or claim that they doing this, that, or other in order to hurt themselves, to try to manipulate some sort of pity points from others, and it's not okay to do. It's extremely toxic, manipulative thing to do in order to claim that sort of thing. On one hand, you don't want to be a dickhead and say, oh, you're not doing it, you're just lying and faking it for attention, because there could be a possibility that might be doing it potentially, but just outright just have them just outright say that they're doing that for the sake of attention and to try to maybe manipulate somebody into a specific way or doing something else. It's just not okay. It's not okay to be this manipulative and use self-harm to manipulate others or try to get some sort of pity points. Regardless of what's going on here, it's just not okay and shouldn't be allowed or respected or warranted. It's not okay to use self-harm, but also it's just insane to me to think that you're gonna hurt yourself over a character interaction in D&D. That's batshit insane. That is honestly unhealthy. Seek help. Go outside, touch grass, get a reality check, please. And with that, that's gonna be all our stories for today. I want to thank you very much for watching, and thanks so much for being here. If you like what I do, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. Also, if the RPG Horror Stories ever goes down, or if you want to submit your own personalized horror story, email is down in the description below. I'll see you again in more Tales tomorrow. Bye-bye.